Testing. Hello. Just started. Ready? I still have not updated my. It'll happen someday. That I actually put a video out. I'm. Hey, everybody. So, I think. When did I first say this video? So, first off, this was not the larger project speaking. It is sort of the cutting room floor of that bigger kind of concepty video. I found it was. I liked what I was doing, but it was getting bogged down with all the junior stuff. So I decided to make that its own video. What? Why is it working now? It just finished typing. I didn't. Hold on. I am using a new audio interface. Hold on. Be patient, everybody. I'm. Is it cutting out like popping at the end, or is it cutting out like I have a noise gate that keeps cutting me out? Trying to figure out whether my actual microphone is cutting or I'm just filtering out my own noise. Sounds like a gate? Okay, that's probably it. That is an That's an easier issue to fix. Yeah, I haven't really tested the noise gate on this microphone setup, so I'm gonna turn it down. You might hear my fan, but it's better than not hearing me. So yeah, as I was saying, I just put out a video. It's sort of the cutting room floor of a bigger video I've been working on. Uh, that's not to say there's not still elbow grease in the recent upload, but just letting you know. I was trying to go somewhere with that sentence, but I got really sidetracked by that technical issue. But it's resolved now. Drawing stream. I do have Photoshop open right now, so I can draw if I want. I thought I'd maybe doodle a bit while I chat. Um, I haven't really been. I've been drawing in my sketchpad, but since I've been on this video grind, I have not been practicing as much. But if you stick around, I'll show you how to draw Bommy, I guess. The one thing I know how to consistently draw, I'll show you how I draw it. What I was saying before is I was trying to have this video out like last week, but so pretty much everything in the recent upload was made in Blender. It's probably the first time where I've made a video where it was pretty. There wasn't much Premiere editing involved. It was just color correction and audio stuff there, which meant I had to render a ton of video files. And I've never really bulk rendered in Blender like that, so I had to push it back like 3 different days before I could get it finally uploaded. But I managed to get it out, and there was only one visual issue in the whole video, or unintentional visual error. And if you see it, pretend you didn't. Why is Bommy not a manlet anymore? I got a few questions about that. So I mean, I didn't I didn't title this stream video addendums, but I mean, I'll probably talk a bit about the video a bit. Usually when I do addendums, I like have images and stuff ready, but I don't have anything ready. I just and I've been I haven't even been able to use my computer the last 3 days because it's just been rendering Blender files because Blender takes freaking forever to render. So I'm at a point where I was happy I was done, but I didn't want to look at any of that stuff. So I haven't gone back and taken behind the scenes photos or anything of the making of because I just didn't want to be in Blender anymore. But yeah, regarding why the model looks different in the most recent video, I might have an image on hand, but again, if you're just getting in, I have a video out recently. I mean, I guess I can really just self-promote. This is like the thumbnail of it. So the proportions of the character are more realistic. It's kind of hard to tell here, but they have like normal leg length. Their head isn't twice the size of their body. The reason for that is it's mostly just to fit the Junji Ito aesthetic because his art is very realistic, and having Wind Waker proportions for that kind of video, it would work, but I kind of like drawing the bomb blow with normal proportions, so that was why. It's not necessarily a permanent change. Like, in future videos, it may revert back to the little, like, short stack form. Keep in mind, it is a representation of me to some degree, and I'm not short in 4 brackets of citations. I'm 5'9", but when I have Bommy, just this little dude, I like it aesthetically, but it's not weird to me when I draw it with like a normal human body. I can understand why to a viewer it's very different. I try not to have I play very loosey-goosey with how I like style stuff, I guess, at least for videos. If anyone ever calls you inconsistent with your art, just pull the Araki rule. Just pull the Araki card and say, I have no canon style for this character. I just draw it in whatever way looks cool. And then they can't fire back because you're right. Why are the colors on your character different? Oh, because there's no canon color palette. There's no canon height, you see. Look up what Josuke looked at the beginning of part 4 and the end. Sorry, I won't get into JoJo, but that's why the Bommy looks different in the newest video. I just felt like it. And thank you, Ameru Ikan. I've learned that I can detach bones in Blender, and with my character, I can make the arms move separate of the hand. I'm remembering I have Photoshop open, so I can probably kind of illustrate this. I realized I can disconnect the bone and kind of do whatever I want with it, which is really fun for 3D animation, especially because, I don't know, you look at a lot of rant sonas on YouTube and they have 5 ranges of motion where their body, where they cross their hands or they put their hands up. And I thought it keeps you on your toes, because you never know. Okay, here's the real reason. It lets me do 2 expressions at once. You know, I'm trying to think of an example to draw. I really want to use this notepad I have in front of me. But let's say I'm like monologuing and I want to put my hand up, right? And that's a hand. But at the same time, you want to like point your finger towards the left. So I can bring the hand up while pointing. God, I'm going to have to draw an elbow. This sucks. Just pretend it's an elbow. I can have the hand jump this way to, you know, elicit a pointing motion. I don't even know which hand I'm working with at this point, but I think you understand what I mean. What is that? I'm trying to draw the what is it? The joint of the hand. I really didn't need to, but I don't usually draw in front of people, so I get nervous. But it just lets me do two motions with the hand at once. There's those two left hands. Well, yeah, that's the point. This is the same hand, all right? It probably helps if I like draw the other hand over here so you understand what's happening. It's getting a little convoluted. The point is, I thought the way I animated the new video would be a little kind of hard to parse, a little confusing. But I thought it was a really fun way to do 3D animation with a character where each of their limbs can do multiple things at once. And really, there's like bigger, more originally animated stuff I want to learn how to do, but I still am most comfortable in the review format. So I wanted to kind of test some stuff with the video, which is why it's a bit more animation heavy than it probably needs to be. Like, it's a video I could have just had a floating head for, but I'm really into the subject at hand. I like having a lot of eye candy for my videos, so I used this video to kind of practice some animation stuff. Like, how would I animate my character if I were to do a fully animated thing? That's kind of why I was doing that kind of stuff with it. Do you think it would be easier if you had a team? I think so. The issue when you have a team is keeping all work consistent across multiple animators requires really good oversight. You have to know how to lead and instruct. That way, you know, someone doesn't overstretch your model or put it off model essentially in their own style. I mean, if I ever worked with people, I would probably let them kind of implement their own styles on it. Have you considered differing art styles as cool? Yeah, and that's actually kind of where I'm going with it. But it's not necessarily keeping it consistent. It's just about knowing how to convey what I would want. Because the way I work, I like to have my hands all over everything that I work on. And I'm not against outsourcing it, but I feel like I'm the kind of guy who would have 100 notes on, this is how it looks in my head. This is how I want the character to move, essentially. I kind of want to get more practice in before I'm trying to instruct others on how to do my own job. I want to know how to do my own job before I'm hiring someone else to do it. I guess that's the easiest way to put it, because this is only my the second video I've made in Blender, or at least released in Blender. I've made other stuff. So that's why I think it would be good. And I've talked about it before. It'll happen at some point, but it's not what I'm doing right now. Thanks for these subs. I saw a few pop up. I don't always point them out, but thanks, Bunny. Thanks, Sea Surf. How do you detach the bones? It's not hard. In Blender, I'm not going to open up Blender, but you can put a constraint on a bone so that it's attached to another bone. So by default, the hand is attached to the arm, essentially. And you can just go into the bone's constraint properties, set the influence to 0, so it's not influenced by the arm. You basically just remove the connection between the arm and the hand, And that's how you animate them separately. And then whenever you want to put it back, you just set the influence back to 1. If you get familiar with any 3D animation program, I'm sure the things I'm saying might not totally make sense if you don't use Blender already, but it's simple once you understand what you're working with. It's just connecting and disconnecting things. And you can do that with keyframes. So you can have, it's like if you're trying to juggle a ball, you're not animating the ball and the hand holding the ball separately. You attach the ball to the hand, and then anywhere the hand goes, the ball goes as well. That makes sense? You don't have to like animate them separately to make it look like you're holding the ball. Here's a hand holding a ball. That probably helps. And then you throw the ball up. I'm not a teacher, guys, so my instructions will be a little simple. Hold on, I have to look at my actual hand. Okay, the thumb kind of like pops out, I suppose. Good enough. So, in a 3D animation program, whenever you're holding something, you can just connect it to the thing that's holding it. And then when it's not connected, there's no connection between them. You get what I mean? And the way I like disconnect Bami's hand is the same principle, essentially. Because the hand is connected to the wrist. Even though it's not like visibly connected. That's a baby thumb right there. Because even though they're not connected visually, the bones that control them are connected. You see what I mean? So all I have to do is break that connection, and then it turns into their own things. That's how I animate the hands like that. FUNKe, I paid you 56. You're still on about the time. I feel like I forget about it every time I start reading your messages, and then I realize halfway through. I want to say Bami was very scrunkly with the multiple hands, and I will not. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you not doing that. Let's see. If I go silent a moment, it's because I'm scrolling up in my chat. I know I miss messages sometimes. Have I seen Devilman Crybaby? I've seen one episode of it. It didn't really stick for me. You talking about constraints? Yeah, that's what that was. If his wrists weren't transparent, would there still be flesh texture connected despite the bone disconnect? I'm not quite... I don't really know what you mean. Are you implying there's like an invisible wrist right here? Because there's not. There's literally nothing connecting it. I'm referring to the bones. I'm referring to like the bones in Blender, not like actual skeleton bones. The controllers of these body parts in an animation program. I pinged you on Discord in an image. I'm not gonna look at it right now because I'm streaming. But thanks. Why is there a Tonberry? Why isn't? I like the little Tonberry. I want it there in the corner. I want to bait people into thinking I'm VTubing. All right. I guess I'll just offload the thoughts I have on the video here, and if I do addendums later, I'll save some other stuff for it. Fun fact: I did not have to scan every book that's in the video because there are some scans online. Not that I would ever pirate, but I did have to manually replace pretty much every texture inside an animated book. So I probably have like 500, 600 images of Junji Ito scans that I had to go through and manually put into that book, on top of actually drawing over the pages, because I did a lot of just scribbling and doodling on top of like the visual editing of each page. It was very tedious. And you know, the reason I did it that way is because I feel like most YouTubers, they just cut out the panel they're talking about and then they have it slide on screen. And I thought, you know, I never really see videos about manga that just show you the book, like the actual book flipping pages. And since I haven't really made a video on books, I thought it would be fun to animate the actual book flipping around as I spoke. Way more work than necessary, but I I I like how it came out. And another reason I did it is there's some other books, manga, that I'd like to make videos on one day. So I would probably come back to the whole story tale book structure. I'm confused how you animated the pages turning. Do you want me to reveal the trick? Do you want the magician to tell you how he pulls the pigeon? Because it's going to ruin it for some of you. It's not going to ruin it. So almost everything in the video is modeled by me, minus Bami and the book that flips around. The fake books in the wide shots I did make, but the close-ups of the actual book are a Blender add-on called Rigged Books. Someone made an add-on for Blender that just gives you a book, essentially, that you can animate to flip open to a certain page. And I just used that. And then I like tweaked the settings of the textures, and then I replaced all the actual textures with stuff. So that's how I did that. Now I will say, because manga is read from right to left, the books in rigged books are made to be read left to right. So I had to flip. I'm embarrassed by my solution, but what I did was I flipped every page of the manga 180 degrees so it was upside down. And then I just recorded the book upside down so it looks like it's... So it effectively flips from right to left, but you're actually just looking at an upside down book. What I realized after I finished the video is I didn't need to do any of that. I could have just filled up the book normally, flipped to the last page, and then animated it backwards. Instead, I animated it upside down. Which was more work. It was just more work because I had to flip every page when I really didn't need to do that at all. I don't know if there's like a way for me to visually convey this, but fuck. I was gonna draw what manga looks like, but I forgot. I've been staring at mangas for a month straight, and I still never remember which side the spine is on. I think it's like this. Like you have the spine on this side, and then the page is on this. Manga. Mangaka. Listen, you know what I meant. What are some changes that you made with Craig? Because they look a bit odd. So I changed the rotors on Craig's side. Uh, in my last video, where I had this little gag where I create a turtle character on the fly, I just drew this sort of square turtle with a propeller taped onto the side of its shell. I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but this is what it looked like in the last video. If you go back, it's just a literal piece of duct tape holding the propeller on, right? And in the new video, God, the explanation's going to be a lot longer than you wanted, but I'll give you the whole thing if you're curious. So I gave Craig an upgrade. Instead of the piece of tape that was there before, there's sort of like a full rotor that clamps onto the side of his shell, and then the rod is at the end of it. So instead of being taped on, it's sort of strapped like a straddle. And that's probably why it looked kind of weird. It's actually a bit thicker than this. I don't have a fancy tablet, guys. I gotta go back and forth from my actual mouse to draw this. This is how it looks now. It's just sort of a machine strapped to the side of them. And there's a reason why I did that. It wasn't just for the headlights joke. Because this little machine also has headlights on it. It was for a very specific reason. And that's because So this goes back to that bigger project I've been working on. It's kind of more originally animated stuff, just with these little characters I've been drawing. I wanted to... There's a lot of shots where Craig is a form of transportation. It sounds a little mean to say it that way, but I have my character riding on his, like, on his shell, essentially. And I'll, like, doodle it out real quickly for you, so I can explain why the propellers have been changed. I haven't drawn this in a while, so... imagine he's got his, like, leg kicked down. The problem is, I could get really into it and just draw this very detailed, but I shouldn't do that. You know what? I'll just take my time with it, and you'll understand. My mouse has disconnected. So the main reason the propellers look that way, fuck it, just gonna quick draw it here, is because if the propellers are here, then it just, the blades spin in the fucking face of my character, which is a problem. He can't technically be decapitated because he doesn't have a neck. But if I put the blades too close, that's what happens. Okay? Which is why I've made a different version of the propellers that are wider, or further out, I guess. He looks so mean in this, but they have he's a good pet owner, okay? That's why in the newest video, the propellers jut out a bit further to allow for headspace, essentially. That's why there's these machines. There's the long answer to your question. Is he a nun? No. This seems like some sort of visual gag you do where Balmy floats his head above the propellers to be careful. You know, I realized that after I changed the model that I could do a pretty good bit about that. I don't think anything disqualifies me from still doing it, technically speaking. I would just have his head, like, fly over to the side for a gag instead. But yeah, it would still work. I don't have music or anything on, by the way. Very silent artist. I don't know how to draw Craig smiling yet. That's pretty good, actually. Maybe I do. I've had to learn how to draw turtles better, just because I don't. Having a 3D mod, making a 3D model is different from learning how to actually draw your character in 2D. Let's brighten up this drawing's mood. You ever have a problem where you can draw one really good eye and then you just can't get the fucking other one working? I have that problem a lot. Like, why can I do half of the job so well? No, it's just you. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. It's a little triangular. But it serves the purpose, I guess. There's a reason I'm a 3D artist, guys. No one who has ever drawn has struggled with the other eye. You can't gaslight me on art. How do you even draw a turtle face? I mean, I still don't totally know, but I know their heads kind of tilt upwards. Like they have sort of like a triangle thing going on, it seems like. Like an actual turtle's kind of different. I draw pretty stylized, so I couldn't totally tell you. But I think it's something like that. They have like a bit of a forehead, I think. I don't know. Because you have nothing to compare the first one to, and now you're making the second, you have to make it close. Yeah, that's a good reason why the whole eye thing happens. Have you seen that someone made a FUNKe iceberg video? I heard about it. I got a message about it. I didn't know it was released. I have not Seen it, no. Favorite song off Ultra Ego? Probably Emergency. Just for that cool bassy solo it has. But I like Move Your Still too, off that album. Alright. I said I'd show you how to draw Bommy, and I need a reason to draw more on my shitty tablet, so I'll do that real quickly. This is how you do the simple Bommy. If you're like not an artist, here's what you do. Draw a circle, draw 2 dots, draw 2 squares just on the side of it, and then draw a triangle. Then just draw a little line to represent the fuse. Now you have a Bommy. Boom. Easy peasy. If you want to actually like detail it, and I'm still kind of figuring out how to even draw these fucking weird flaps. Let's see. Go back. He's got like a round head, but you know how the actual human head isn't round and it sort of like juts out at the back because we have monkey brains? I sort of do that with the hat where it pops in at the end. Then you have the tail here. And the flaps on the side are just big rectangles, essentially. Then you got the turtleneck. Easiest thing to draw in the world. Reliable in a pinch. And the fuse, I like to think of it like Goku's hair. You know how Goku's hair always looks the same from every angle? That's pretty much what I do with the fuse. I just extend it off the hat. Then give it 3 little puffs for the wick. And that's how you draw Bommy. But maybe with thinner lines. Wear tits? It's a bomb, sir. Does not have tits. There's also the emblem on the side of the hat, but I draw that differently every time. Just think of it like an ear, basically, and then draw a backwards F. And then boom, you got a Bommy. Congratulations, you did it. Don't ask me to draw one front-facing. I refuse to even try. And that's how you do it. Remembering the FUNKe plushie, his head was I'm still happy with the plushie. And I got cleared to do another at some point. Top down. I can actually do a top down, believe it or not. It's not that hard. You literally just draw a few lines. Like I've said, I need to be better about drawing characters that isn't just my OC. Because other than like fan art of characters I like Ginkgo, I don't do a lot of drawing of just other things. But this is one of the few things I've drawn from enough angles that I kind of can imagine it. Bottom up. I don't think I've drawn it bottom up yet. What the fuck? You want me? You mean like ortho, like literally straight down? Because I'm going off memory of what the 3D model looks like for this one. It's a intentionally a pretty simple character, so I can't imagine it'd be that hard. How's that? Rate my bottom up Bommy. And then I'm trying to like draw the bottom of the turtleneck. 7 out of 10. All right, I'll take it. How many Bommy spawns do you have now? I don't know what that means. If you mean like OCs that aren't just my self-insert, I mean, I've drawn a few dozen of them, but there's probably only 4 or 5 that I've actually written distinct sort of identities for. I mean, there's more that I plan to write stuff for, but only a few that I've really fleshed out beyond the simple designs and stuff. As in how many models that have the Bommy color palette. I still don't know what you mean. Just the one. Thanks, Spag Kitty. Glad you liked it. I was planning on buying a that tablet I keep talking about, the screen one, but it's, oh my god. Oh, ow. I rubbed my eye and it like flipped the lid inside out. I'm good. I'm good. It's tax season, so I have to wait because I don't want to spend, I don't want to drop the cash on that yet. So I'm still on my $20 tablet here. I'm pretty sure 3D animation is something you all made up to fuck with me. Yeah, I mean it blows my mind sometimes too, but it's real. It is out there. I'm real mixed because I like 2D art more visually, but I understand 3D art more. I enjoy 3D animating more. Not that I've tried much 2D, but I feel like if you sort of gave me a magic wish to be an expert at 2D or 3D, I would pick 2D. If only because a lot of times when I'm animating in 3D, I'm imagining it in 2D first. So it would probably translate well. Also, thank you, Swift Shot, for yet another 10 gifted. Damn. Is that, it's 120, so has it been just a year of you doing that? Or is that just every time I upload? Either way, thank you. But yeah, if I had to pick, I would go with 2D. Diagonal Bommy. I think I'm done drawing my OC for the moment. Just chatting. You know what I've realized is that I need to get better at drawing smiles because I don't know how. I feel like I've got the neutral expression on lock. Check this out. Yeah, bask in it. But an actual smile, like, how do you scrunkle up a face? I mean, I need all of my anatomy to be much better, really. But if I had to pick one thing about expressions that I want to get better at, it's like non-neutral faces. I don't really know what I'm drawing. I'm just trying to think of how to draw a smile. But it makes me feel like I'm a alien because I'm trying to remember what a smile looks like. I should really have a better idea of what I'm drawing instead of just a face. Hmm. Is this someone you would approach on the street? Wojak. Uh, the more I draw, the more I don't want to draw. Now that's a happy camper. Alright, just gonna hide that so I never have to look at it ever again. Ugh. I wonder if I'd be better at drawing it if I tried to draw just like a TF2 character. Like, are my brain cells so fucked up that I can only imagine a smile if it's on a fictional character? I'm gonna just try and draw a TF2 character, and I want chat to try and guess the second you know which class it is. And don't just guess every fucking class. It's gonna be real challenging because even I don't know what I'm drawing yet. I'm also going without a reference, so like I could be off. You know, you guys can. I haven't even gotten to the actual. You're just guessing randomly right now. You have to like preface your guess with, "This is 100% serious. I know who you're drawing." That way, I know that you're being serious. Fucking second die. I love the Grinch smile, but that's not really what I was going for. So some of you have already guessed it. But I'll just, what I'll say is it's not spy. Unfortunately. It's so clear in my head. That Oh, I'm sorry. Anyone want to still guess sniper or spy? No, go ahead. You still got time to. I feel like I drew his head too big. Also, what side is the thing on? It's on. That's right, everybody. It's the spy. That's not the spy. I don't. You know what? Yeah. What the hell is that spy, bro? Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to see you draw one better. Here, no, I'm holding the pen out to the chat. Someone grab it. I'd like to see you fucking draw Spider-Man. Ugh. Not for the hard part. I'm trying to, like, are there any. What other discernible details does the fucking scout have? It doesn't really have anything else. I also don't know what his nose is shaped like. I think it's like kind of. Oh yeah, the dog tags. Technically, I didn't really draw the actual torso at all. The great thing about TF2 characters is if you ever aren't sure what their details are drawn like, it's probably just a square. It's impossible to get wrong. I wanted to draw actual eyes, but this was just kind of my easier to remember. No, I'm not making it a fucking Tumblr sexy man. I'm not doing the straight line at the top of the eye. Much better. You look sleep deprived. Well, you know, art imitates artist, I guess. Can you draw him muscular and shirtless? Probably not well, but I don't know how dedicated I am to this. I'm feeling it out. I'm ready to jump out of the ship at any moment, you know? I guess he'd need a thicker neck. Uh Nice arms. These aren't. I'm getting to that. Okay, I have to draw the muscles first. God, there's like an actual way to. You have to draw uh muscles like a chain, right? Like you have the first chain, and then what the fuck is? I have not been practicing. So you do that, and then you have the other muscle here. Something like that. No, I like that stroke. No, I lost the stroke that I like! Now it's too meaty. It's not remotely JoJo enough. Oh well. I'm jumping out of the car, guys. How are you going to spell Bommy with an I if you're Justyn with a Y? I think it's thematically fitting. No one spells my name right, so why should they spell my fictional character's name right either? Well, half fictional. uh, I didn't have any video games or anything planned tonight. I know Paladin's got some updates, but they still really haven't had anything substantial in 3 years. And I'm not starting a game. I will say the next video I put out will probably be like an easier animated one, like another floating head video essentially. I don't want to go another few months without uploading. It's without getting too much into the details, I've been working through some stuff the last few months that contributed to the upload gap. So instead of getting caught up on huge projects, I'm going to try and do some more bite-sized kind of stuff. But I can't tell you what it is yet or when it's out. Just that it won't be another 3-month huge animated thing. I'm banging my head against a wall because of script writing conundrums. You see, I've actually been pretty good at compiling a list of ideas. I just haven't been great on. I still only like working on stuff one at a time. I'm not great at working on multiple things in parallel. So I have like 10 videos I want to make, but I haven't really started compiling what I need for them at all yet because I just go video to video with it. Have you considered YouTube Shorts? I have, but I don't know what I would do. I don't want to make those just for the sake of algorithm. I'd only make those if there's like a 10-second joke I could make that I think is funny. I haven't sworn off them. It's not like I'm refusing to make shorts. I don't want to convert my videos into shorts. If I do shorts, I would just make something dedicated to that medium. I've thought about it, but not haven't acted on it. You guys want a Weezer fun fact? I learned that before Weezer, in like 1993, Rivers Cuomo was he was jumping around these little bands, and he had a friend ask him to be the frontman for this band that eventually ended up being sort of like one of the earliest nu metal bands. And Rivers Cuomo didn't take the offer, but technically speaking, before Weezer was like before nu metal existed, which is just sort of this poppy, hip hoppy form of metal. But Rivers Cuomo was writing music like that back in the 90s. So he was almost in the first nu metal band, but did not end up being so. It's almost a fun fact. It's not quite, but it's almost. I also learned the dog from the front of Ratitude passed away 3 years ago, but that wasn't a fun fact. That was just a sad fact. It wasn't Fred Durst. But yeah, that was sad news. I wish I had like another Weezer fun fact to really Oreo that with something happier, but I don't have one. That's all I got. There are two pictures of Rivers Cuomo jumping into, I think it was Scott Schreiner with a giant inflatable ball. Like there are photos of him completely off the ground, like about to tackle Scott Schreiner, with no context to the images. I don't know if I have them on hand. There were just apparently some crazy Weezer shows where they were knocking each other around. And the reason I bring it up is because the photo doesn't look real. It looks like, you know those AI generated celebrity photos where it's like they would never do that. That's what these photos of Rivers Cuomo tackling his band members on stage looks like. It reminded me of the copy pasta. RE4 remake? I still haven't played RE3. Well, I haven't finished RE3. I wanted to play the RE4 VR mode, but it never stopped being a Quest exclusive. Unfortunately. Honestly, I haven't really been playing video games at all in the last month, which I know is a travesty. Well, I've been playing one, but I don't want to say what. But I'm so behind on my backlog. It's not Fortnite. It's Overwatch 2. It's like my Twitch chat doesn't even know me. I had an idea for a video that I want to make, but it would take an entire year to gather the footage that I need for it. So you ever see those things that go around on like Twitter where it's like, check off every game you played, and then it's got 50 games and everyone's always got like 10 of them? I've been like looking up just bucket lists of gaming, like the top 100 games every gamer must play in their life, because there's a ton of really popular games I just never played. God, not this one, but this is an example of what a gaming bucket list is. And a part of me is compelled to make a FUNKe study, kind of like my movement shooters one, but playing every bucket list, every must-play video game ever. Like if you had to pick one definitive RPG, one definitive FPS, and compile them all into a bucket list of must-play games, I feel like it would be interesting to dissect what the internet considers the definitive games of every genre. The problem is some of those games take an upwards of 80 hours to complete, and that's being generous. So I would have to dedicate months. I'm not Gerard the completionist either, so it would take me a while. But that might be a video I eventually get to. Overwatch 2 is fun. Well, it's fun when it's fun. Overwatch 2 is never as unfun as Overwatch 1 was. That's what I'll say. What do I main? I'm a tank main. Still on Orisa, but I'm playing a lot of Ramatra and Rhine because that tends to win games more. My problem, okay, do you want to know the real reason I play Overwatch 2? Because I don't want to say I'm embarrassed by it, but I like the social interaction, believe it or not. I like coordinating with other people in something, even if it's just randos. And if you play a high level, if you play at a high level in an esport, you can get that experience. And I enjoy Overwatch 2 a lot when I'm playing with other people that are coordinating, they're pinging, they're calling. The problem is you get 5 games in a row where nobody is in voice chat. You have like a healer that's not healing. But even the worst part of Overwatch 2, where it's just like my team sucks and they're not really, their head's not in the game, it's still so much better than Overwatch 1, where it's my team sucks and I'm being stunned half the time. Like CSGO. Yeah, but CSGO is so much more punishing for aggressive play. At least at my level it is. It's like I like CSGO, but in CSGO isn't an environment I feel like that it's not an environment that interests me. I have fun when I play it. I played it with friends and made really fun joke calls. But I don't know. I like games where I can dive in and die and not have to wait on spectator mode for 4 minutes as a result. It's the same reason I don't play Valorant or Six Siege. I don't like games where you die and then you're just not playing the game anymore. I got to meet some of the TF2 voice actors at PAX last week. What a great community. Yeah, I saw that. I had a few friends go out. Most of the existing TF2 voice actors were at PAX East looking for the sandwich, I'm sure. And it really does make me happy that they're so like emotionally attached to their characters. I loved that they did a panel. If I had gone to PAX East, I totally would have seen that, but I did not, sadly. I don't think they found the sandwich, though. The problem with Siege is that they nerfed everything. It's okay if some things are better than others. I don't disagree with that philosophy. I don't know how that plays out in Siege personally, but I, I mean, I think the best type of balance for any game is side grades or equal equally good stuff. Like the best terms I can put stuff in is usually Overwatch, and like Sojourn is better than other heroes, but she's not free. Like you have to be good at her to be better at other heroes. But if you are good at her, she's better than most other heroes. And that kind of is a problem because it just decentivizes playing anything else. So I think there's a line where it's not okay to be for things to be better, but I'm sure in Siege it plays out differently. Especially because you're locked on your character the whole time. Side grades seem hard to do without it being either too powerful or being the Iron Bomber. Usually, I mean, historically, yeah. What game ever came out of the gates with good side grades that didn't have to get nerfed 2 months after release? I feel like every game has that issue. I actually feel like TF2's current balance is near flawless. Not flawless. It's nothing seems so good that it needs to be addressed. TF2's only issue with weapons is that some of them are so boring that they deserve to be better. And in a weapon with like 120 weapons, in a game with 120 weapons, it's not a terrible problem to have. Like there's always going to be a least picked weapon. But in an ideal world, the least picked weapon can still be fun if you play it in the correct way. And I don't know how you make the sun on a stick fun. Sojourn is free win if you have good tracking. She can just shoot 30 times in her ultimate. So yeah, even with like the headshot nerf, she can still get so much free damage off. With that said, I'm like diamond tank and masters DPS, and there's not a lot of Sojourns carrying in my games, but I imagine in Grandmaster up there probably are more. Thanks, yeah. Thanks, Yak. The best kind of balance is where everyone is viable, not everyone is equal. Everyone is viable, but not everyone is equal. Yeah, I mean, I I get where you're coming from. Yeah, viable is a real delicate word because when I played competitive TF2, not everyone was viable, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Like you wouldn't play engineer on attack in if you're like trying to push into last because what does he contribute? It's okay for everyone to not be viable, but you want everyone to have a situational viability. His engineer's not good for pushing, but he's great for holding last. Teleporter, yeah, but if you lose a fight, you're not staying on that point anyways. So what's the teleporter gonna do? Because enemy team is pushing past that territory anyways. And if you put the teleporter further back, it's probably just faster to roll out at that point. My point is, engineer's not viable all of the time in sixes, but he's viable some of the time, which I think is a good philosophy for games. But I guess that depends on whether a game allows swapping. Like, I thought Overwatch kind of made a mistake when they, well, I don't know about a mistake. Like, they turned Torbjorn into a generalist so that he would be viable on pushing because people were complaining about Torb's throwing on offense, which is like a weird solution. They got rid of what made that character unique. He's still kind of unique, but nowhere near the same level he was when he had an upgradable turret and he went around collecting metal. Situational viability is kind of how I like my games balanced. I don't need everything constantly viable. The problem with Overwatch is that there's a lot more one tricks. Yeah. Well, people like define their identity in that game sometimes with what they play. Like they just only play Roadhog or only play Symmetra because it's what's fun to them, even if it puts their entire team at jeopardy. And Blizzard has decided they're going to balance the game to like account for those people. And I mean, I don't totally blame them. It's not fun to play that game when you have someone who's just putting you in a losing position. I won't be super talkative for this entire stream because kind of running on fumes here. Plans for next videos. I will say I have more video game videos in mind, but I have another video about music I want to do. I have another video about like manga. This year I want to try and have a bit more diversity in the topics I cover. I'm not like shifting, like the format is still the same, but I just I'm not super content to just make like reviews of every one game or thing that I play. And even the videos where I just compile 5 or 10 reviews together uh isn't like I enjoy doing that, but where my creative drive is more towards like it, rather than reviewing stuff, either talking about a really specific concept that I like in media, like I did with like the Junji Ito endings, or trying out something different, which later in the year I'll probably have more to say about that. I will say with my last video, I've gotten a bit more comfortable with like building environments and stuff. Because when I first moved from SFM to Blender, all I could really make was just a room, like a box, and then hang stuff on the walls. But I wasn't really making props or materials or shaders. And I'm just now getting to a point in Blender where I'm comfortable enough to try and like model outdoor environments or sets, I guess, settings that aren't just a room. So I want to make more videos that aren't just me sitting in a chair in a room, I guess. But I don't know what that is yet. I mean, I have plans, but I don't know what's coming out immediately. Do I plan on taking my animation skills anywhere else besides YouTube? If I can help it, I wouldn't mind the independent animation. I don't mind YouTube because it lets me do independent animation. I can make what I want. If I want to make like a fully original animated thing, I don't know if I have the budget for it, but I have more creative freedom this way. I'm not trying to like get in the industry right now. And you know that animation industry, it's always super healthy and thriving. So I mean, I don't have any plans to like start animating for commission or joining a studio, but I definitely want to do more ambitious stuff with my own animation. I have not played the new Ultra Kill update yet. And you actually reminded me that that is out. I saw the whole Ultra Kill added like an entire museum for their developer credits, which I just think is fantastic. But I haven't actually checked it out. I thought it was just mostly like secret content, like unlockable hidden stuff, and I don't have a lot of that set up already. So I have not played it. What did I think of Emesis Blue? I think it's one of the few SFMs that anybody can and should watch. I think there's a like most SFMs you gotta know about TF2 to really enjoy it at all. And I guess Emesis Blue is kind of like that. But I think if you knew someone that doesn't know much about TF2 but they like animations, I think they like the psychological thriller that is Emesis Blue. And I don't fucking know how they did. Someone made 2 hours of like film length source filmmaker animation with like full action scenes and custom sets. And I don't even understand how you do that. I mean, I understand how, especially because their last upload was like 2 or 3 years ago. But just to think of how much time was like dedicated to that, it's you not in source filmmaking. You never see that amount of commitment aside from maybe those 2 hour streams of Five Nights at Freddy's source filmmakers. I guess they're spending a lot of time too. Opinion on Putis and Gage. Sino is one of the reasons that motivated me to learn Blender. After I saw Putis and Gage and that other one that he made, Putis Extreme. I'm just I'm blown away. I'm blown away. It's the easiest way to put it. Seeing Soldier's face fucking melt in from a punch in a way that you could never do in Source Filmmaker. Absolutely hysterical. I wonder what Winglet's up to. It's been a while since he's uploaded. Noodle actually made a video. One of my friends made a video about like ratios in media, like the black bars, and he actually shouted out Putis Engage because of all of the visual gags that Sino does with Heavy like grabbing the black bars to use them as a fighting game attack. There's just so much like really creative stuff that happens in that animation beyond just being funny and well animated. Like there's some actually cool unconventional cinematography that occurs in it. Man, the Dungeons and Dragon movie comes out tomorrow, and I don't want to support it, but I really want to see it. And I would never pirate. I actually heard it was good. Some people were like wailing on it, like it's going to be another a bad D&D movie, but I heard good of it. The problem is Wizards of the Coast have been kind of really racking around that franchise. I don't know a lot about what exactly they're doing. I know they were just sort of they changed their terms of services for like 5e, I guess, or for D&D 1. The people who make D&D are kind of doing some scummy business practices, so a lot of people are boycotting the film. All of my friends that are into D&D like are boycotting it. Yeah, I mean it's really Hasbro, I guess, as opposed to just Wizards. But I I have seen that people have I know where to watch it. I'm definitely going to see it. I know that Minecraft just came out with like a D&D add-on or D&D, I don't know what they call it. Like a downloadable content that adds mobs and playable stuff. But it's only for Bedrock Edition. And every time I see Bedrock Edition do those third-party updates, I just think, wow, this is a bunch of content that should really have a base game equivalent for some of the monsters and weapons and spells they add. It's stuff that should just be in Minecraft, but instead they sell it as a third-party brand tie-in. Yeah, only Bedrock, because I guess Java Edition doesn't get the content updates, the DLC that Bedrock does. But I also don't like Bedrock Edition. Well, I mean, mods mods exist, but that's not the same thing. Mods require effort to expended to download. And I don't downloading mods for Minecraft is honestly just tiresome because you have to download Forge and then you have to find the actual download for the mod. And you have to hope that the mod isn't outdated because when Minecraft updates, Forge updates, and then you have to update Forge, and then the mod might not be updated, and then the mod that you want is updated, but it requires another mod that isn't updated. So instead of spending your time constantly downloading Minecraft mods, it would be nice if actual Minecraft just had more content. D&D has had some good adaptations in recent years in other mediums, so I'm not worried about the movie doing well. Yeah, that's true. I did like Vox Machina, the Critical Role adaptation. Bob Connect, I'm just talking about modding Minecraft in general. It's just not. It's intuitive. It's way more intuitive than it was back when I really played Minecraft. But it's still. It's not the click of 2 buttons, it's the click of 20 buttons. Like, you can get a mod loader, I guess. You can get, like, the Forge launcher, and it's a bit easier, but it's. I just don't want to go through all that. Take care, Satan's bars. I actually bought the Bedrock Sonic DLC. Was that ever added to Java? I don't think so. I don't even, like I said, I don't even think Java Edition has any of those promotional tie-ins. I could be wrong. I'm booting up Minecraft to check, but I might not be logged in. I did like that the artist who'd made all of the paintings in Minecraft, I can't remember their name, they've been posting the high resolution versions of their art on Twitter and revealing like the details no one ever knew existed. Like things that people thought were mountains on the paintings are actually buildings. There's so many just strange revelations occurring. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't look like Java Edition has any of that downloadable content that Bedrock does. You can get Minecraft dungeons, though. All right. I'm starting to get really heavy bags on my eyes, so I may prepare to end my stream soon. I know I wasn't super high energy tonight, but I'm gonna try and get a full night's sleep and be back tomorrow with another Friday stream. And I'll probably actually plan something for that one rather than just chatting. But thank you to anyone that gave me a comment in chat or a compliment, or anyone who subbed, or anyone who lurked. Thank you. And again, I have a video out. If you haven't seen it yet, I feel like it's enjoyable even if you're not into the topic, but I'll also say it has some spoilers for Junji Ito stuff, so keep that in mind if you go to watch it. Otherwise, I'm about to end the stream. I will see you tomorrow or whenever our paths cross again. Yeah, all right. Take care, everybody. Greer.